Okay, so have you ever wondered, how the retention of analyte compound happens during the GC analysis? How the analyte gets retained onto the gas chromatography stationary phase? If you have this curiosity, then this video is for you. I'm going to explain you with the help of three important intermolecular forces how the analyte can get retained onto the stationary phase of the gas chromatography. And these are the three important intermolecular forces which predominantly governs the retention of analyte when it comes to gas chromatography technique. The first one is London dispersion forces, the second one is dipole interaction, and the third one is the hydrogen bonding. So let us understand the first one, that is the London dispersion forces. So as all we know that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus of any atom. So during the revolution of the electron, there may comes a time where the electron cloud gets shifted in any one location of an atom, and this can be represented by very simple diagram as you can see on the screen. Now this is what the symmetric distribution of electron across the nucleus, and hence there is no pole development, right? But the moment there comes a time when the electron cloud is now shifted little towards any direction. In this case I have shown into the right side of the nucleus, and it is called as what, the development of instantaneous or the induced dipole moment. So the electrons are shifted a little bit towards the right side of this nucleus. That yields the development of induced dipole moment. Now when such kind of situation occurs, what is going to happen? you know if there is a presence of another atom, if there is a presence of another atom with this one, so this electron cloud of this atom will attract the nucleus of the another atom which is positively charged. Yes or no? Because this is negatively charged now, plus minus delta, right? So this minus delta, a little negative cloud of the electron will attract the nucleus of the another atom in its vicinity. And that develop the bond, the force of attraction between these two atoms. And they are called as what? This kind of force is called as the London dispersion forces. So this dispersion forces is because of the displacement of the electron cloud in one atom, which leads to the induced dipole moment between these two atoms. This is called as the London dispersion forces. They are very weak, but they plays a role in certain given conditions. So this is the diagram, how you can understand the formation of the London dispersion forces. So this is the first atom on which the dispersion of the displacement of the electron happened, and this electron cloud of the atom 1 now is attracting the nucleus of the atom 2, and that established the force of attraction which is called as the London dispersion force. So let us move ahead. So on which parameters this London dispersion force really depends? And here is the first point. Larger the molecule, the greater the attraction. What is the force strength is here? The bigger is the molecule, the bigger will be the London forces, the London dispersion forces. And as the bigger is the London dispersion forces between two molecules, then these two molecules are going to retain for the longer time. Now here I need you to understand one important point. So the first molecule or the second molecule, these two molecules are what? One is our stationary phase, and the second one is what? Our analyte. As you inject some sample components into the gas chromatography, that becomes your the another molecule. So you need to understand, what is the molecular size of the stationary phase. That is going to remain constant throughout the analysis. Yes or no? Because you have already selected the stationary phase for that particular specific analysis. But once you have the analyte inside entered into the stationary phase now, so based on to the molecular size of the size of these molecules, they will have a different interaction, the degree of interaction with the given stationary phase. And what is the degree of interaction? So the greater is the size of the molecule, it will have the greater of the attraction forces as per as the London dispersion forces are concerned. So the greater molecule will have the more attraction towards the stationary phase amongst the another molecule, right? And as the greater molecule, right, has the greater amount of attraction, that molecule is going to stay for the longer time onto the stationary phase. And as the molecule stays for longer time onto the stationary phase, that molecule is going to be retained for the longer time onto the gas chromatography stationary phase. So in the short, larger molecules will retain for the larger amount of the time if their retention gets governed, if the retention gets governed by the London dispersion forces, and which is the case in case of the 100% dimethyl polysiloxane stationary phase like DB1 or the BP1. So the DB1 or BP1 columns really governs, their retention gets governed with the help of London dispersion forces. So if you are using the DB1 column or the BP1 column, probably you can see that the larger molecules eluting for very late and the smaller molecules eluting very early. If the London dispersion forces is a predominant factors which affects their retentions. So what should be the order of elution if London forces is the governing retentions? So this is just a small example to understand what should be the order of elution. In case if you have a ethanol, isopropyl alcohol and methanol as your analytes. So let me correct the spelling over here. Yes. So what is the predefined criteria? Bigger is the molecule, bigger will be the London dispersion forces. So in between these three molecules, which one is the bigger molecule? And it is very easy to understand that the isopropyl alcohol is the bigger one amongst all these three. And hence the IPA is going to have the good amount of interaction with the stationary phase. Then comes the ethanol and then comes the methanol. So the IPA will elute for longer time, right? Then the ethanol will elute in between, and methanol, being a smaller amongst them, will elute very quickly out of the stationary phase. The second governing rule is larger the surface area, greater the attraction, right? The larger is the surface area of the available molecule, there will be a greater amount of interaction, and hence there will be a greater amount of retention. So the molecule which has the bigger surface area will have good amount of interaction with the stationary phase, and hence it will elute very late because of the more interaction. So let us understand what shall be the order of elution if London dispersion forces is the governing factor onto the retention. And here is the example: N-pentane, isopentane and the neopentane. So which one will elute first, which one will elute at the middle, and which will elute at the late in the chromatographic run? So to understand that, now here are the structures of the N-pentane, isopentane and the neopentane. So which one do we feel will have the more surface area, whether the pentane, isopentane or the neopentane? So amongst these, the N-pentane will have the more amount of the surface area. And as it has a more amount of surface area, it will have more interaction with the stationary phase, and hence it will elute very late. Then comes the isopentane, and then comes the neopentane, which is having the least surface area between these three molecules, and hence the neopentane will have very less amount of interaction with the stationary phase, and it will elute early amongst all these three. So based on that, you can easily understand the order of elution, whether the stationary phase that you have selected will be suitable for your analysis or not. So this is how the London dispersion forces impacts onto the retention of your compound. The second one is now the dipole interaction. Dipole interaction, and what is the prerequisite for the dipole interaction? You must have a different electronegativity between the given atoms. Otherwise, the dipole will never get created. If there is a good amount of electronegativity difference, the atoms must be having a electronegativity difference between them. Otherwise, you will never end up getting the dipole onto the given molecule. Just understand. Now, this is the molecule, right? This is the acetone CH3COCH3. And this oxygen being a highly electronegative atom, it can attract the more number of electrons towards himself. And as the electrons got attracted towards the oxygen, oxygen develops the minus delta charge. And because of that, this carbon atom will develop a slightly positive delta charge. And this is called as what? The dipole. Now, there is a dipole form. One end of the molecule is having a slightly negative charge, and the another end of the molecule has the slightly positive charge. So this positive charge of the one molecule will get attracted towards the negative end of the another molecule, and that's develop the attraction forces, which is called as the dipole interaction. This is in between two different molecules. So what are the properties of the dipole-dipole interaction? And here is on the screen. So greater is the polarity, greater is the dipole-dipole interaction, and hence the greater will be the retention of the molecules. So what is the polarity of your compound? That is going to actually determine the power, the degree of dipole-dipole interaction. So what should be the order of elution now? In case if the dipole-dipole interaction is governing the retention of your compounds. So for example, you have a dichloromethane, chloroform, and the carbon tetrachloride. So amongst these all three compounds, which compound is having more polarity? So you will understand that the dichloromethane is the polar one as compared to the chloroform, and then comes the carbon tetrachloride. So if you have to order in the increasing of the in the decreasing order of the polarity, you will find that the carbon tetrachloride is the least polar or it is highly non-polar, and the dichloromethane is the polar amongst all these three compounds. So as per the law, as per this governing rule, greater is the polarity, the greater will be the dipole-dipole interaction. And if there is a greater dipole-dipole interaction, you will have the more amount of interaction and hence the retention will be higher. So between these three, carbon dichloromethane, the dichloromethane has the more polarity, and hence it will have the more amount of interaction with the stationary phase as compared to chloroform and the carbon tetrachloride. So the dichloromethane will interact for longer time, and hence you will very late into the chromatographic run. Then comes the second, it is chloroform, and the least one is what? The carbon tetrachloride. It will have very least amount of interaction with the stationary phase, and hence it will elute very early into the chromatographic run. So based on to the knowledge of the molecular polarity, and if the dipole-dipole interaction governs the retention, you can easily understand the order of elution. The third one is now is the hydrogen bonding. So the hydrogen bonding is again the as like the dipole-dipole interaction. The only difference is what? There is a necessity of electronegative atom, but here the second atom is always going to be hydrogen. So and that is called as the hydrogen bonding. It is again the kind of dipole-dipole interaction, but only difference is what? The one molecule will always the hydrogen one. And the one atom is always going to be hydrogen one, and you can see into the onto the screen how the hydrogen bond can get formed. So This is a hydrogen bond formed between the hydrochloric acid. So chlorine is the highly electronegative atom. It attracts electron towards himself and get minus delta charge, and the hydrogen develops the plus delta charge. So this minus delta charge of the chlorine attracts the plus delta charge on the hydrogen and then develops the hydrogen bond between Cl minus and C and the hydrogen plus. Similar, you can see the development of hydrogen bond in case of water just below that. So let us understand what is the property of the hydrogen bonding. So the first one is what the molecule must contain highly electronegative atom like chlorine, and the another atom should be a hydrogen atom. That is, I think, well discussed. So let us move ahead and understand the properties of the hydrogen bond now and how they impacts onto the retention into the gas chromatography. So greater is the electronegativity, greater is the hydrogen bonding. And if there is a greater amount of hydrogen bonding, you will have the greater amount of interaction and hence the retention. So let us understand with the help of very simple example. Now define the order of elution if hydrogen bonding governs the retention. And here is the example on your screen: benzyl chloride, benzyl bromide, and benzyl iodide. So amongst these, you will find that there are different halides like chloride, bromide, and the iodide, or chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So amongst these three halides, which one is having the more electronegativity? And it is the chlorine, right? So the benzyl chloride will have the more amount of interaction with the stationary phase, and it is going to retain for the longer time, and hence will elute it very late into the chromatographic run. The second will be the benzyl bromide, and the last one will be what? The benzyl iodide, which will have very least amount of interaction with the stationary phase and hence elute early into the chromatographic run. So this is the way, by knowing the electronegativity, you will be able to understand the order of elution into the chromatographic run. The second one is, now the smaller is the molecule, greater is the hydrogen bonding. Smaller is the molecule, the greater is the hydrogen bonding. And as the greater is the hydrogen bonding, you are going to have a more amount of interaction with the stationary phase. The molecule, the smaller molecule will interact for the longer time with the stationary phase, and hence it will elute very late into the chromatographic run. Similarly, the bigger molecule will have a least amount of interaction with the stationary phase and hence elute very early into the chromatographic run. So let us understand with the help of very simple example. So define order of elution if hydrogen bonding governs the retention. And here is the example: methanol, ethanol, and propanol. So amongst these three molecules, which one has the least molecular size? It is the methanol, right? And which one has the highest molecular size? It is the propanol. So what's the law says? Smaller is the molecule, greater will be the interaction and the retention. So the methanol, being a smaller amongst them, will have the good amount of interaction and hence elute very late into the chromatographic run. Similarly, the propanol, being a highest size of the molecule, it will have a least possible interaction and hence elute very early into the chromatographic run. So just by knowing the molecular size, you will be able to understand how the retention of the molecule can happen into the chromatographic run. So these are three very important intermolecular forces which actually helps us in understanding the retention of compound onto the during the gas chromatography analysis. So I hope you must have got an overview of how this intermolecular forces really governs the retention of analyte during the chromatographic run. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will meet you soon with such kind of informative and useful video. Till then, take care and bye bye.